What is going on, my dudes, my fellow motorcycle enthusiasts? So currently I am with the F900XR. Now I don't know if you remember, but I made a video with the F900R version that I absolutely fell in love with, and Gary over at BMW Motorcycles of San Diego said, you know what, it might be a good idea for you to take the XR and see how you like it, and then after you're done with it and you have a good basis of comparison between the XR version and the R version, to make a comparison video between the two bikes. So that's going to be that video is going to be coming up shortly right after this one. So right away, I'm sure you can tell already, but this bike is a roadster. It is meant for long cruises. It has a windscreen that is adjustable. It goes up and down. I used it from the dealership to here, tried out both up and down, and depending on how fast you're going, it does make sort of a difference, but we're going to get into all that stuff once we start rolling. Besides that, the engine capacity and the horsepower and the torque figures, exact same thing as the R version. There's no difference there. The fuel tank on this is 4.1 gallon. Other than that, the bike also sits up a little bit higher than the R version, and the seat height goes from 30.5 inches to 34.5 inches in height. So if you're a taller stature person or a shorter stature person like myself, you can get the different seat heights for yourself. And currently this seat height is the standard one. I believe it's a 32.5 inch seat that I'm sitting on at the moment, and I'm hovering somewhere around 5'6", 5'7", so I'm not completely flat-footed, but I do have confidence when I ride this bike. Other than that, the styling of this motorcycle is not as aggressive as the R version. Once again, it is a roadster. It is a cruising type of bike. Long distances, made to get you there and back. Not only in style, but in comfort. This bike is all about comfort. Unfortunately, the bike I'm riding right now is the base model. It does not have the premium package, and it does not have the select package. The premium package will give you a quick up and down shifter. This doesn't have it. It also gives you the dynamic road setting, which I believe I saw it had that. So we're going to look into all that stuff once we get rolling. One thing I completely forgot to mention is that this bike weighs about 20 pounds more than the R version. The R version is sits at home, fully fueled up, ready to go at 465. This one I believe is 485 or 490. Alright, enough of this talking, let's get rolling. So, as you already know, if you've watched my F900R review, I talk a lot about the LCD dash, and this has the same dash as that. It's a 6.5 inch LCD. It's got a lot of different options. In this video, we're not going to get too much into it because there's so many different options that we can get lost on this for hours. But for now, we're going to concentrate mostly on the road, and let's get this baby going. Nice throaty exhaust. Not a lot of vibration under the seat. Pretty plush suspension as I sat down. Suspension sagged just a tad. Not a whole lot, but just a tad. Very smooth throttle delivery. So just like the R version, as I mentioned, this has that 6.5 inch LCD screen. It makes your ride a whole lot more enjoyable considering that it's so big and beautiful. Now, this is a pretty bold statement that I'm making right now, considering that there are a lot of manufacturers at the current moment. But the LCD package that you're looking at on this BMW is the absolute best in the business. It's got all the electronics, all the bells and whistles you can ask for, multiple different screens, turn-by-turn navigation, a sport display, which we'll get into shortly, probably in another video, but just describing all these things to you for now. But it's got all these things, and it just makes the ride a whole lot more special and inviting. It's definitely a premium quality product. if I can sum it up in a few words. Now, the difference between, I can tell you right away, the difference between this motorcycle and the R version is that the suspension on this is a lot more plush than the R version. The R version's a naked bike, and it's a sport bike typically, without the fairings. So obviously it's going to be a little bit less comfortable than the XR, because this is the touring version, long distances, cruises, etc. So we're going to be talking a little bit now about rider comfort, because many of you are going to buy this bike and you're going to do significant amount of miles. We're just about to get into the highway. So the bike is very, very comfortable, nice upright position. You have this windscreen here. It's got two different levels. In a little bit we're going to switch it to the lower level, but at the current level there is no wind blast, but I do hear the wind noise, and it's a bit more than my Panigale. I compare everything to my Panigale when it comes to wind, because that has a very tall windscreen, shields you from the wind. There's absolutely no wind blast, and I don't really hear that much of the wind whenever I'm riding that motorcycle. And in case you're curious what kind of helmet I'm currently using, I have the Shoei RF1200, and it's a very aerodynamic and very comfortable helmet, and it's one of the premium helmets, and I paid a pretty good penny for it, because I wanted something that was very comfortable and, most importantly, very quiet. But I would have thought that this bike would prevent you from getting a lot of wind blast on your helmet, but the wind blast does not affect me here. But as soon as I put my hand here, there's a ton of wind, so I am definitely getting it on top of my helmet. Now if I lower myself a little bit, the sound from the wind deadens down a lot, but as soon as I pick my head back up, the wind continues once again. So I'm not really sure if this windscreen is that effective. Maybe if you're going to buy this bike and use it for long distances, it's probably best if you get yourself some earplugs, because the wind blast from the helmet is definitely going to deafen you on a long ride. And currently I'm doing 75 miles an hour in 6 gears, so it's not like I'm going super fast. Other than that, it's a charming bike. It's got good character. It turns in very smoothly. There's really no input from me. A turn comes, a bend comes, it goes on its own. Tires on this are, I believe, on the R version, there's the Battle Axe tires. I forgot what manufacturer they are, but all I remember is that they're the Battle Axe tires. I'm not for certain what tires are on this bike, but they seem to be gripping pretty well, and it seems to be turning in pretty easily, as you can see. Very little input from me, and she basically glides. Torque on this bike is similar to the R bike. You have torque coming in anywhere from 4,000 RPM all the way to 6,500 RPM. And I believe the torque figures on this bike are 67 foot-pounds. At full 67 foot-pounds of torque, we're talking 8,000 RPM. All the way to the max red line of 9,000. So we switched down right now to 4th gear, and I'm at 6,000 RPM. So let's test out the passing power. Triple digits very quickly. So 99 horsepower, 67 foot-pounds of torque, and the bike weighing close to 500 pounds. There's a lot of power on this bike. It's not something that you're going to say after a little while of riding this bike, oh man, I wish I had more power. As you saw, dropping down 2 gears from 6th to 4th, and I didn't even go wide open throttle, and this thing entered triple digits very, very quickly. And I'm currently in dynamic mode. So before I mentioned that this bike might or might not have dynamic mode, so there we go. It has dynamic mode in the base model. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't hear anything about this bike having any options. It does not have the premium package, because if it did, we would have the quick shifter. And it does not have the select package, because the select package comes with cruise control and heated grips. So this is completely base. So if you're buying a base model, you're going to get rain mode, you're going to get road mode, and you're going to get dynamic mode. I like to keep it a dynamic. I think the throttle response is a lot sharper. Alright, let's take her on some normal roads. and see how she handles. There's a bumpy bit of road that I want to go on, and I want to see how plush the suspension is. Once again, if you have not checked out my F900R review, be sure to click the link above where the cards are, and check out that review if you haven't already. I think you'll learn a couple of things about that bike before you check out this bike. Maybe you want to check out both. This is a bumpy bit of road right here. Handles it very, very nice. I don't feel any pressure at all, but it's going to get a little bit more bumpy. All right, here comes the bumpy part. Now notice my voice as I go over this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, you get it. Well, I can tell you this much. It is very comfortable, and I think it's more comfortable than the F900R. So it definitely passes the plush test, the comfort test, and I approve in that department. The seat is nice and wide as well. Plenty of performance on this bike. Definitely doesn't lack in that department, as we already saw. What a gorgeous day today is. Air temperature is 69 Fahrenheit. We are very close to the water, in a beautiful road with beautiful temperature and this gorgeous bike. It just could not get better, ladies and gentlemen. Just could not get better. Let's switch things to the sport display. Oh yeah, there we go. Gives you a lean angle, a section where how much braking pressure you're adding, how much traction control is being utilized, your gear on the top right hand corner, how much fuel you got left, your riding mode, which I'm in dynamic at the moment, your miles per hour. It tells the speed limit for the road that you're currently on, which is 45 at the current moment, and of course the air temperature and the time, and your cell phone, which is connected to the Bluetooth below on the right hand side. And I have my Bluetooth connected at the current moment. I like this a lot. I like this a whole lot. It spoils you, man. Completely spoils you for all other brands. When you have toys like this, how do you even look at other brands? It's a game changer. In my opinion, it's a game changer. When you got all these different manufacturers fighting for your eyeballs, fighting for your money, and then BMW comes out with this kind of display and puts it on a cheap $10,000, $12,000 bike. And I'm not saying it's cheap, I'm just saying it might be cheap for some people, but it might be expensive for others. But puts it on a bike like this, it's a game changer. It's a real game changer. Oh man, it is so pretty. Oh, that water is so gorgeous. Overall, I like this bike. The width of the bike is definitely bigger, and I think it's because of that 4.1 gallon fuel tank. Now, as far as the windscreen is concerned, I did mention I was going to talk a little bit about that. In and around traffic, it makes no sense to put it up. So the wind blast is really not that apparent whenever you're riding in and around town doing 20, 25, 30 miles an hour. But after 35, 40 miles an hour, you do get wind blast, but it's only like here and above. It's mostly on the helmet. So hopefully you have an aerodynamic helmet, something like something good quality. That's not going to give you a whole bunch of wind sound, because that could deafen you, and it's probably a good idea to get some earplugs. The engine is a 2-cylinder engine producing 99 horsepower and 67 foot-pounds of torque, but it's got a V-twin engine sound. It doesn't sound like a regular 2-cylinder engine. It sounds like a V-twin, and I like that. It's got an aggressive sound to it. Overall, it's a pretty docile bike. I could see myself riding this thing long distances, but it's a tough choice though. It's a tough choice between this and the R version. I don't know. I guess you guys are gonna have to tune in for the comparison video of the R bike versus the XR bike. Me and my friend Max, which you guys probably haven't met before, but you might meet him for the first time. Me and Max, we're gonna do the comparison video. He's gonna ride this bike and I'm gonna be riding the R. And I got a surprise for you guys, because tomorrow I'm going to be telling you something that is quite special to me. So stay tuned for that. It's a little surprise, a little secret, if you want to call it that. And I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to tell you what that surprise is, but you'll find out soon. The bike being as heavy as it is, once you're moving and out and about, I can't tell if this bike weighs 300 pounds or it weighs 600 pounds. I can't really tell. It's very flickable. I don't know how they do it. Must be down to the suspension, the geometry. I don't know. BMW's got this down pat. Feels very, very nice. But once you're getting on the bike and turning the bike straight for the first time, yeah, you better be in good shape, and you better have your workout before you turn the bike over, because it's pretty heavy. But it's a touring bike. If you buy this bike or you own this bike, you knew that getting into it. It's a touring bike. It's got a nice big fuel tank, and it's got a good size that's meant for comfort over performance. And the weight comes with the territory. It is what it is, but like I said, when you're riding the bike, those kind of things really don't matter much. Looks like we got a cafe racer right in front of us. BMW. Ah, R9T. Homie's got an R9T. Nice. I wonder if you saw my review. Oh, he's got a nice exhaust on that baby. Sounds good. Let's see if we can talk to him on the red light. Oh, he's got an acro on that thing. Sounds good, man. Nice. I test reviewed that one. But that's nice, man. You put the Acropovic on it. Stay safe. What's up, man? Is that a Honda Monkey?
Yeah. That thing is awesome.
Pull up a little bit.
It's the first time a monkey ever had me on his back.
That thing is pretty cool, man.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Motorcycle community is a very tight-knit community. Oh, so pretty. Let's see if we can park the bike at one of these parking lots, because now San Diego is completely open, and admire it a little bit. Take it all in. And perhaps we can close off on this wonderful first ride review. All right, let's pull right in here. You've seen this place in my previous reviews, I'm sure. And here we are, one of my favorite places. Admire the bike, admire the scenery. Well, there it is. First ride review of the F900XR. Charming bike. You don't feel the weight that the bike has when you're rolling on it. Initially you feel it when you're getting on the bike, turning it straight. That's where you feel most of the weight. Otherwise you don't feel that at all. Great for a person who wants to commute long distances. And it's definitely something that you can take on long cruises, long road trips, take it camping. You can put some saddlebags on this baby and get rolling. It gets Petrohead's seal of approval. I approve of this bike. I like it. And I think you would like it too. So, if you have any questions, write down in the comment section and I can answer all the questions for you. Please be sure to like this video and please don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys on the comparison video of the F900XR versus F900R. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.